And that was something, because I trained the basketball team too at Towson State. What I had to learn was, because I'm old school, and I thought everybody had a squat.
Yeah.
Man, basketball players, some of them cannot squat.
You'll be surprised. Yeah, you'll be surprised. Right, anatomically, they're just
they're 6'8",
They got long femurs, long torsos. Yeah, it's.
They can squat to warm up. They can use the stick to do the overhead squats for the whole body work. But you load them up, you got to put them on the leg press, buddy. Unless you want to get fired.
Unless you don't like your job.
Because when they come to practice and they talk about my back hurt, they don't want to hear nothing about the back's a muscle too. You get over it. Listen, let me tell you something.
I can't move.
Listen.
I can't move.
Listen, we know they need sets of 20 and sometimes 30s. You better get in people sets of 8 and sets of 6. Get them strong and let them play.
Exactly.
If you mess around and mess up that coach's opportunity for practice, they're going to let you go.
Oh, yeah. It depends on the demand of the sport, man. You got to understand that. And that's why it's that principle, because the philosophy for the longest has been, oh, you got to clean, you got to snatch, you got to squat. You know what I'm saying? You got to do you got to do heavy deads, when most of your athletes that come in, they have no experience with the weight room whatsoever. So any stimuli you apply to them, they're gonna adapt. They're gonna adapt. I could put them on the general prep, and they're going to have some hypertrophy, because that's the adaptation. They're in the peak of neuroadaptation. So understanding your athlete. If you understand your athlete, understand the body type, understand what you're working with, understand the demands of the sport, you have a better idea of where you need to go with your program. And during this time for us, and I've been on a number of Zoom calls with so many other strength and conditioning coaches, that we're all in agreement that this may be the best thing to happen to us from a sports standpoint, as we're talking about the health and longevity of these kids, where these kids, they've been playing ball year round. Football, basketball, training, 7-on-7, you know what I'm saying? They don't rest. They're loaded with the joints are loaded. Now you got these kids that come to college having stress fractures, nagging injuries, you know what I'm saying? And yes, we're dealing with anomalies, but you still need rest. Period. Machines need rest. Machines have off buttons.
Yeah, that was my biggest gripe with college coaches, because I've coached high school athletes. Mm-hmm. I've also coached at the collegiate level, and then I coach at the professional level, and they're different.
Yeah, all of it different. Yeah,
I watch college coaches do things that are, I say, morally and ethically irresponsible. Meaning, yes, you can push that college athlete hard as hell, and you can bench press them to death, and don't do any pulling movements, or don't balance anything out, don't do any rotator cuff movement, and they'll be super strong. But when they're done playing for you, their bodies are shit.
Terrible.
I think you have a responsibility to take care of this person in their later years. Meaning,
help the human first.
Yes, help the human first, because they're not going to always play for you. Most college athletes are done in 4 to 5. Period. You can't just train them, and make them strong to use them on the field, and then discard them. Then they got all of these muscular imbalances, and we could literally squat somebody, squat them, make them super, super strong, and mess up the muscular balance between their quads and their hamstrings. It's already at 3 to 2 already. It's already at 3 to 2. Right. Now you keep going squatting them, and squatting is a quad glute dominant exercise. Absolutely. And you don't pay attention. You don't do ham declines. all you want to do is do hamstring curls. You can't do hamstring curls. You got to do glute ham declines.
Right.
You got to do the stability ball hamstring curls.
You got to do the eccentric work.
You got to do the eccentric work for the hamstring. But I can just make you strong, and you can play and be okay. And then in later years, okay,
ACL, Achilles,
ACL injury.
You out in the yard playing with your kids, and
you don't realize you got the ACL injury because you're more quad dominant, no hamstring work.
You got no brakes. And
posterior
chain shot.
People don't realize that this happens. People don't realize when you have a collegiate soccer player, a female soccer player, a woman soccer player, when they come to university, the first thing that you got to do, you got to hamstring curl them to death. And I don't mean hamstring curl on the hamstring machine.
Absolutely.
You got to hamstring them on the stability ball.
Yep.
You got to hip lift them on the stability ball.
Yep.
And you got to work the way till they can do single leg hamstring curls.
Yep.
Because the rest of it, they're going to be okay.
Yeah.
They got to run and cut.
Yeah.
A collegiate soccer player. A collegiate soccer player, your job as a female collegiate soccer player, if you can keep that young lady on the field without an ACL injury, you have won.
And you have to look at the anatomical makeup of the woman. There's already an acute angle from the hips to the hips. So they're already in valgus, right? And 80% of ACL injuries are non-contact across the sport.
Across the board.
So now we were talking about, now you look at the demands of the sport. What are the demands of soccer? Changing direction, being agile. Sometimes, within a week, you're talking about the volume of cutting between practice and the game in the upwards of 500 to 1,000 reps of just cutting and changing direction and braking and bracing and absorbing force. So if you don't have those breaks, if you're so anterior dominant, when you're just used to going forward, you never work the sagittal plane, you never work your posterior chain.
And don't do and have zero transverse work.
No. You might as well get on 95, cut your brake line. Get on 95 and just press the gas.
Because you're going to get an accident.
Absolutely.
They don't get that, and it's hard to explain that. And when you're dealing with female athletes, man, you got to look at them. Like, you got to look at them.
Yeah.
You got to
you constantly you assess and then reassess. There's no testing.
Here's the thing: you get them at 17, they leave at 22.
Yep.
Anyone can look at their picture at 17, look at their picture at 22, and see how their bodies change. When your hips start to change. Yep. When you increase in terms of the fatty tissue, in terms of your breasts, for some athletes they do anyway.
Right.
Especially if they don't pay attention to their food. Yep. It changes to what we call a COG, the center of gravity. When the center of gravity changes, it changes their movement, and they don't even know it until the tire blows.
Yep.
Which is why we try to tell them, and there's a fine balance with training the female athlete. You can't push them toward the female triad, but at the same time, you have to talk to them about nutrition. Yep. You can't body shame, but at the same time, you got to talk to. You have to talk to them about food. Yeah. You can't tell them what they should eat, right? But you have to give them guidelines on quality nutritional practices, and it's so different because if they don't follow. What you do in the weight room changes them.
Everything, neurologically, hormonally, and people underestimate. Again, I might sound like a broken record, man. I can spend hours on this. Just like the importance of sleep and your mind, and the hormonal responses it elicits neurologically when you don't sleep. Or when you feed it the wrong foods, or when you're not getting proper movement, and we're all hormonal. I don't care what nobody says. We all are emotional beings. Right. And our responses are wired or, triggered by our hormones and the neurotransmitters that, send signals from here to there. And if one that's doing this, then another hormone or another neurotransmitter got to do this for that. Now your body's haywire. Now you got a shitstorm, to be honest with you. So understanding what makes them tick and when and if this is the right time for that, because now you also got to deal with women in their menstrual cycle, weight fluctuations.
I don't know how it's done on the university level. I know on the professional level, I would get blood work. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you guys do blood work at the university.
I don't think. That's
more. I don't think you can right now. Right.
I don't care right now. Yeah, that's more for.
It's private.
Yeah, it's private. So it had to be a doctor. Yeah.
We do blood work, and I don't know if you have this discussion with another. I have to sit down and talk to a woman about when her menstruation cycle is.
You have to. Yeah.
It's very difficult, and you got to put it on the calendar.
Right.
And work their program around it. And the coach needs to know too, because there is a time period where the propensity towards ACL injuries increases because based upon hormonal release, everything, not the joints, but the tendons, ligaments get more lax.
Yep,
because of hormonal release, because it's trying to prepare their bodies for some different things. This happens monthly.
And
if you have
so important, man.
If you have different requirements of them in the weight room and they still got another practice in the evening and they're fatigued under this relaxed state and they're not neurologically heightened as much as they need to be because they haven't slept, they haven't been recovering, and then you didn't back down on the volume, boom, it becomes a perfect storm.
So now you're talking about factors. It wasn't just when we look at injury, we like to pinpoint injury as that event, as this is what caused that. No, but you don't take into the account that they just practiced 3 hours yesterday, the day before that. They got 2 hours of sleep, had an exam.
Woke up with their boyfriend.
Right. They beefing with moms at home. Then you don't have enough money to eat. When you do eat, you eat garbage because now you're craving these foods that lack nutrients, right? So you just piling junk on top of junk on top of junk. Now you should create more cortisol. So now you're highly stressed. Now you in your sympathetic when I need you to be in your parasympathetic. So the volume that I give you really doesn't matter because now you're still stressed. You and your body perceives this as stress. Now you're in a chronic state of inflammation, so you're not recovering. Then you go out here and this person rolled their ankle or they pulled a hamstring. Man, it's
more to it than that.
It's so deep. It's so deep, man.
That's why I tell people don't blame the game on the kicker.
Oh no,
it was the 3rd and 7 that you let them pick up.
Exactly.
At the end of the second quarter, that cost.
Everybody's stressed.
And now you want to put on the kicker.
Right.
All you do is kick. Well, all you do is tackle.
That's it. You don't miss 5 of those.
But he missed one kick, and now all hell that broke loose.
Oh man, look here. He got death threats. He can't ride back on the bus.
He can't get on the bus. He can't get on the bus. But they won't let him get on the bus.
Oh man.
But
it's deeper. It's deeper than what people think it is, and I think we have to understand it. And it's been a privilege and a pleasure to work with women athletes on this level because you get a different appreciation, respect, and understanding of the demands of what's required of women and just women in sport and then women in life in general. I already think highly of women to begin with because of what they have to endure just being a woman first and foremost. But to see them thrive in these different spaces on different platforms when in this time and era and then being able to work with them, you know, firsthand and closely, you understand that they really are the shit.
Right.
You did.
They got a lot more shit to deal with athletically than men do.
Athletically, we do. Right. Like,
and it's people like what? Well, I'm not getting into that discussion right now because that's a whole nother podcast.
I'm about to say, yeah, you trying.
Right. No, but it's just that they are different. If you think that men and women are the same in terms of the training process,
yeah, absolutely.
No. Now, here's the thing. At the professional level, they get more similar.
Yeah, more similar. Yeah.
There are reasons for that we're not going to talk about. Okay.
Right.
Basically, they become more masculine.
Right.
The
hormone change.
Right. It's right. You're dealing with athletes that low body fat.
Yep.
High lean muscle tissue.
Yep.
Different.
Higher levels of testosterone. We all have testosterone. They have higher levels of testosterone.
I like you said they have higher levels, right? Exactly.
Higher levels of testosterone compared to the average woman. Compared to the average woman.
They look like no, they don't look like a man because it's something that makes a man look like a man.
Right.
They look like what they need to look like to do
what they need to do.
Job.
Yep.
And if they don't look like that, they can't do their job.
They can't do their job.
So don't worry about how you look. Yep. Worry about how you do your job. Because you don't worry about how you look when you get dressed for work.
Absolutely.
Just put on what you need to put on so you can go do your job. That's it. Well, man, we can end it on that, man. We had some. It was a good talk, man. Good coffee.
Man, look, we could talk all day. You already know that.
Yeah, listen. It was good, man. We talked about HBCU, just to cover it again. We talked about your dad's influence, talked about work ethic, bathing yourself in the sport, being a ball boy. We talked about gender roles, things that you learned from growing up in a Christian household, the strength of your mom, creating a healthy human first, and making sure that your athletes understand that you care about them and care for them. And doing what we call KLT, know, like, and trust. Your athletes need to know you. They need to like you. They need to trust.
Absolutely.
And you talked about trust being in and of itself, being a process. And if you want them to trust the process, they got to first trust you. Then we talked about the important things, really for anybody, people who are what we call Gen Pop athletes, but more specifically, what we need to talk to or speak to. Coach Keith talked about that upcoming high school athletes, before they jump into the physical side and just start thinking about lifting and running and everything else, pay attention to the gas that they put in their own personal car, which is their food. Pay attention to making sure they get a lot of sleep. Make sure they get the right movement. Making sure that they do the recovery, the stretching and the foam rolling, the simple things that you can do on your own.
The little things.
Right. And then changing your mindset. And then changing your mindset by watching and becoming more purposeful about what you say, by believing what you say, and then by writing down what you say, and then by doing the work based upon what you said, what you believe, and what you wrote, so that you can end up becoming who you're supposed to be.
Absolutely.
And Coach Pough also talked about when you're going after what you want to go after, you're not making a sacrifice.
And you're making a choice. Making a choice. You're saying yes to a thing.
Let your yes be what?
Let your yes be worth the less.
Let your yes be worth the less.
It got to, man.
Coach Pough, I really appreciate your time, man. You have any social media outlets that you'd like the people to follow you on?
I'm on Instagram at KPough. I'm also on Twitter at ITSKPough13. I think that's about it for my social media outlets. I'm not really.
You can't.
I'm not really active with anything else.
You know what? That's something I want you to talk to real quick before we close. All
okay.
Right? Coach All and I talked about this. He's one of my business partners from my company, Switch On. We talked about this. these kids don't understand or recognize that. Give me one moment. I did this before. All right. Mm-hmm. This is called My Social Book. All right. Mm-hmm. Now, this goes from January 1st, 2014 to April 25th, 2015. This is every post that I made on Facebook. Mm-hmm. This is every post that I made on Facebook. Now, I tell people this. NFL clubs that are getting ready to spend $1 million on you, they will pay somebody a couple $100 to look at every social media post that you made ever.
I take it a step farther than that. When you release something into the universe, cyber universe, it goes into a central repository. So when you delete it, it's never deleted.
Never deleted.
You may have deleted it for that moment, but once you press send, it is gone, and someone can retrieve it at any point in time, anytime. So
people who do cybersecurity tell you all that, but you don't believe it. And if you go to something called the Wayback Machine, you can go to the Wayback Machine online, and it'll pull up how the website used to look way back when, and show it to you, because it's all cached.
Oh, it's all cash. And then no one, you got to be politically correct, but they need a dose of the truth. No one is telling you what, to post, or that you should care about what people think about you, but you should. You should care about how you are perceived, because someone's perception of you becomes their reality. While it may not be your reality, it's their reality about you. And whether you believe it or not, this is what these coaches think about. And what you post is how you are being perceived, but not only how you are being perceived, but it's your perception about your reality as well. And this is what you value. So if I'm creating a culture, I'm looking for someone who is high character. And if I see some things that are contradictory towards what I believe, then I'm gonna be hesitant to accept you. Now, if I do accept you,
or just not choose you at all.
No, at all. Not choose you at all.
I say you might post something that might be fine for you to still get recruited by William and Mary.
Right.
But you might post something that Liberty University is no longer gonna consider you.
Exactly.
Because that's not in line with what they believe.
What they believe, right? And you just be. Don't be mindful of the things that you post. Be mindful of what you say. And if it's something that you strongly believe, if it's morally and ethically correct, then by all means go with it. But also, some things don't need to be said or posted on the internet.
And let me tell you what Coach Pough is also letting you know. If you're in high school and you're trying to get a college scholarship, or you're in college and you have a scholarship, shut your mouth.
Be quiet, please. Please and thank you.
Politically, shut your mouth.
Absolutely.
Okay, because you will lose your job.
Right.
Or the opportunity to do your job.
Right.
Shut your mouth. There's a difference, and young people don't understand. There's a difference between a tweet and a text. A text is between you and your friends. Sometimes you're so used to texting, you send something that should be in a text to the world.
Yeah.
And it will change your life.
And
I don't care how you feel about President Trump. You are not him.
Right. And we live in a world where we've given everybody an opinion. And opinions are like buttholes. Everybody got one. They all stink. They all stink. So, at the end of the day, if you don't have anything nice to say, just leave it alone.
Just leave it alone.
Just leave it alone. It's not worth it. It's not worth the headache. It's not worth what it could cost you in the long run. And again, I say that to say what people think about you is their business. But don't give them the ammunition. Don't give them the ammunition because of something that you said or something that might have sound cool, or you thought you like. It's okay not to have a thought about something. It's okay to be indifferent about something that everybody is saying stuff about. Like 90% of stuff that transpired, I don't even care because it doesn't sway me one way or the other. if it's not affecting my family, how I feed myself, and pretty much that's it. If it don't affect those two things, it don't matter to me.
Let me tell you something, parents. If you want your child to get a scholarship somewhere, or if your child's an athlete at a school somewhere, you need to be careful what you say too.
Absolutely.
Because they go with the apple don't fall far
from the tree.
Right.
Most trees ain't planted on the hill. I ain't never seen one planted on the hill. I ain't never seen no fruit tree planted on the hill. So just be mindful of what's being said, what you say. You don't like the NFL might be better than the FBI when it comes to investigating and doing background checks. They can go all the way back to they went all the way back to my 4th grade teacher.
They talked to your 4th grade teacher?
Talked to my 4th grade teacher, and I wasn't even considered to be. I had a 3rd, 4th round grade. So I can't imagine the reconnaissance they do for someone that they're going to invest $50 million in.
Wow.
You understand? That's just the depths of their reach, how far they can go back. So there's nothing that you, yeah. So the bandwidth of what they can touch and what they have access to, and that's just the NFL. I'm not talking about major corporations and stuff like that. I'm talking about what I've experienced, and I can only speak from my experience. But these things are, and that was 5 years ago, almost 7 years ago. But just be mindful of what you put out there. Again, just be mindful of what you think, what you put out to the universe. If your mind right, then half of the thoughts, you won't have to worry about.
All right, well, Coach Pough, I thank you for your time, man. This was another edition of Coffee with Rhadi. I want to highly encourage you to visit www.coffeewithrhadi.com. Those people who are athletes. I also want to encourage you to get the book, Enhance or Destroy, Relationship Lessons from an Elite Athlete. You can find that at www.enhanceordestroy.com. It's absolutely fantastic book that will show you how the people that are around you can impact your success. I think Coach Pough read the book too.
Absolutely did.
Absolutely was fantastic. You got it, and unfortunately or fortunately, you got to make some tough decisions after.
You got to make some business decisions every now and again.
Listen, I knew we ain't gonna talk about, but I knew the business decision that you had to make. But that's how me and you ain't had to talk. But you knew I was talking to you.
Absolutely.
And everything got to do like this, Ham. And if it's tough to say it.
Yeah.
And if you say it when somebody's not ready to hear it, they'll repel you. So you just got to give them.
Absolutely.
Give them the text, and then they got to sit down. They got to read it, and then they got to.
Absolutely. They got to decipher for themselves.
It's unfortunate sometimes.
Yeah.
I'm sitting in the seat right now too.
You know what I'm saying?
I was just a little further down the line.
A little further down the road, yeah.
That's it. But it's it is what it is. Hey man, thank you for your time, man. Love you, bro.
I appreciate it. Love you too, dog.
All right, Root.
Root.